Season play, they sit at 9-0. Can the Rail Splitters be the one to take them down? As Osmar Garcia takes on his former team, the Rail Splitters, in a interesting, homecoming matchup. The Rail Splitters sit at 6-4 overall this season, led by first-year head coach Tony Jasic. As this one popped up and out of play, already right to the action. LMU is. They're a quick team with a lot of impressive scores. Henderson going to have to really stay on the up and up defensively. And these two teams are going to make it quite an interesting night here on Education Night in Abney.
Expect some high-flying action. If you enjoy high-flying basketball, this is your matchup right here at the Abney Athletic Center. This is going to be an awesome fight. Already 2 points quickly for Lincoln Memorial, but man, this is just going to be great. I can't wait to watch this whole thing play out.
Lincoln Memorial, the reigning South Atlantic Conference champions after finishing 25-6 last season, 21-3 in South Atlantic Conference play. But hey, they might not have returned too much talent after the leaving of their former head coach, but man, they have brought in a lot utilizing the transfer portal as Garcia tries to grab the first few buckets against his former team.
And of course, this is a big week coming off an incredible week. Osmar Garcia Rajo points and 12 boards against the Eagles, and just looking to bounce back and do it once again here against the Rail Splitters, again, his former team.
Garcia fighting through contact. Reeves pops it up and out for what we think might be the freshman of the year, Rashawn Engelman. Man, has he just been so impressive. A.J. Wright, his counterpart here in this phenomenal guard trio that Jimmy Williams has out with the former Mars Hill Lion in Kadyn Dawkins as well. Both him alongside Engelman, some of the best three-point percentage in the entire country. Anderson has 3 of the top 10 in three-point shooting in the entire nation. Garcia drives, spins, left-handed lay. That'll fall. And right now, that is the matchup to watch. It is Hussein.
And got the quick and easy too.
And Hussein standing at 6'10", and Garcia standing at 6'7". Those two are going to be going at it underneath the board tonight. Dawkins kicks it out. Engelman from 3. His bread and butter. The first shot won't fall for the freshman out of California. On the way to Gerard, the New Mexico Junior College transfer, one of the 3 New Mexico Junior College transfers on this LMU squad. Hussein has it popped out by Wright. Wright, the steel king of the sack, is Dawkins through contact. Grabs a quick 2 and takes the lead for the undefeated Trojans, who come in here 9-0 on the season.
You know, the Trojans, they average 95 points per game, just over 95 points per game, and they're showing it right here. Quick and easy buckets against the Rail Splitters.
You know, one trend I've seen to notice with teams that score so much as Rashawn Engelman drives through the trees, floats it up, and that'll be brought down by Hussein. But as I was saying, a trend I've noticed with a lot of high-scoring teams around the nation is that, yes, they may be high-scoring teams, but there's no defensive presence. With Anderson, it's quite the opposite. Well, not really. They just have both sides of the pie. Great defense, even better offense. 3-ball won't fall. First attempt from LMU today.
You know, Colin, that's something we're going to have to watch because LMU not too far behind, 87 points per game.
Dawkins lays one out and drops it in a bucket. And I tell you what, it's so fun seeing South Atlantic Conference opponents turn into teammates, and that was exactly how it was with Kadyn Dawkins, the former SAC Freshman of the Year, who averaged 16 points per game in his career with Anderson. Hussein from the charity stripe. That'll go over the back iron. The kick out. E.J. Smith out of Tennessee. That will fall just right. The push foul on A.J. Wright And the first few games of the season, he got into some heavy foul trouble early. He needs to really be on the up and up and look out for that.
Yeah, good defensive presence, even though he did draw the foul. But still, just trying to be on the ball, and that's what you want to see if you're head coach Jimmy Williams as E.J. Smith gets to the line. Of course, 15 for 17 so far this year. Make it 16 of 18.
Yeah, close to perfect on the year. And one of those guys that can really just drive the lane, draw those fouls. Yep. He's a shifty guard, but still lengthy as well. And you like those type of guys because they're not afraid to play downhill. Of course, coming off a 9-point game. Basically 3 for 3. So a third of his points came from the cherry stripe. He tries to grab the second here. And, of course, as we mentioned, Education Day, so there are loads of elementary school children packed up in Abney today, looking to make this electric as it is Christmas break for the Anderson University students.
They'll be, of course, looking for a certain number. That's been kind of a trend here. We'll have to see if they get to that later on in this ballgame.
A.J. Wright through traffic, now decides to direct it. Finds Garcia, kicks it out, no-look pass. Engelman won't find his mark true. And, man, Engelman, who's coming off quite the game.
Yeah, two early quick misses for Engelman behind the arc. We'll have to see if that's a trend that continues here.
4 steals and a rebound against the Rebs. That was the second time they played Newberry this season. As that one good for LMU. They're down by 3. The Trojans trying to bounce back and keep on the up and up as we'll see you. It's under 16 here in Abney. 73 in favor of the Rail Splitters.
Yeah, we could easily say the Rail Splitters have had the Trojans a number so far. Have to go all the way back to 2013. November 26th of 2013. That's almost 12, or it's over 12 years ago now, that the last time the Trojans were victorious against the Rail Splitters.
Jones and McAbee have checked in the game. Jones, a product of the Rock School, as he floats that one up off the backboard. It will go, and that will be Anderson ball. Now, of course, one thing I've loved about watching Garcia as he's entered this new stage in his career, has been watching him really guide and be the vocal leader on the floor. You see him correcting his teammates, saying, hey, this is what should have been done, is right. Let's one fly from deep. Rebound made, but, of course, Garcia has all the ability to do that. Averaging a double-double, you lead the floor in not only scoring, but also in rebounds as well.
Yeah, his performance early on in this season has really what's been the boosting pad for the Trojans to really get to this incredible start and historic start for the Trojans so far. 8-0 so far in this young season. Or 9-0, excuse me.
Of course, I'm sure some people would like to forget about that Newberry game. Newberry specifically. And we'll see that one go way of the Trojans. Just being an obstacle there was Garcia.
And that's the thing. He can have the offensive presence, but when he is on the defensive and able to stand up there and take and absorb any contact right there, just incredible on both sides of the ball, and that's exactly what Jimmy Williams wants to see from his team.
Now, of course, this LMU team, no stranger to winning as well. They've got 3 straight wins, including a 29-point victory over Emory and Henry.
Yeah, these two teams have figured out how to blow out their conference foes here this season, but something's got to give here today, and it's shown so far a really close tested match so far here in this first half.
Yeah. The past decade, they have been the team over the past decade. As this one kicked out, Gerard working on Jones. Wright, his defender. Of course, Wright, as I mentioned, was at one point the sack leader in both steals and assists, but this time it'll be Gerard that gets the better of him. McAbee up through contact. Won't find anything, including a foul.
Kind of a wild attempt there from McAbee, but good job there to try to get the paint presence going here for the Trojans.
Mims flies up for it. He's averaging in those double digits as is popped away. Wright able to find it in his grasp. Cross court for Maccabee. And they'll call him stepping out of bounds. This is an interesting vibe from this Trojan team. Doesn't seem as calm.
The Lincoln Memorial defense so far, kind of getting them uncomfortable here at home on Christmas break. You know, it's not much of a home field advantage, or home court advantage, I should say, for the Trojans during Christmas break because you don't have the Trojan Army here as much as it would be during school time.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, crowd energy makes a difference.
Yes.
And, of course, many have dubbed here in Abney as one of the hardest places to play. As Sentinel Moore gets his 7th block of the season. And, hey, they love having him as a rim protector so far this season. Not only that, but a rim scorer as well. 81% from the field. He leads the Trojans right now in shooting percentage. Dawkins pushed to the boundary, drives. Popped up and away. Maccabee takes it now. Jones trying to work off the screen.
Gotta get a shot up.
That one blocked away by the three-point line. Foul is called. Dallas Jones to take a few shots at the charity stripe.
Late in the shot clock there, and Dallas Jones just having to heave it up, but able to absorb some contact right there as he went up 4-3. It's going to be 3 quick shots here from the free throw stripe.
Yeah, that's just high basketball IQ from him, just knowing that he's probably not going to get the shot off. It was going to be contested, so he kind of leans in there a bit, draws the contact, and makes sure to emphasize the theatrics of it. Of course, Jones, 75% from the charity stripe this season. He has been phenomenal. Averaging, sitting right at 9 points a game overall. Coming off 7 points and a rebound against Newberry. Been a great rotation score and really a matchup piece for Jimmy Williams. Really revitalized team. I mean, Coach Williams came in here under 500 in regards to his South Atlantic Conference wins, and then just starts to blow the South Atlantic Conference competition out the water. But, of course, he's also competing against the likes of Tony Jasik, who returns to LMU where he began his coaching career. As Jones denied by the rim. Of course, we've seen him with some highlight dunk reels, just felt off. As this one found by Drew Lewis, the Parkland College transfer. Well, he had a high of 21 points against John Wood Community College, 10 rebounds against Hocking. He's a guy that can really spread the floor. Maccabee, 3-ball, sinker. One of the top in the nation in regards to three-point percentage. An absolutely elite shooter, 56% from the field this season.
And he made sure that time he was in bounds as he got that ball. Good job there by Maccabee having a good presence there and getting the three to drop in the corner.
Hussein back in the game, working on Moore, the dish down low. And we'll see the travel called on LMU. 13-8, your score. The Trojans maintain the small yet comfortable lead.
And even though the ball's been flying around like crazy here to start the game, the Trojans still able to have that advantage so far, even though four turnovers committed by Lincoln Memorial, only 2 so far for the Trojans.
James Repass has entered the game. The former Furman Paladin brought in by Jimmy Williams. And that one popped away out of his grasp. He's also another very efficient shooter from the field. 71% is Dawkins streamlining his way. A nice hesitation. Grab the lost bucket, toss it to Reeves, and Reeves to reset things. Jones, 3, cash money.
You know, he brings the house down with the dunk most of the time, but he can step out and make a nice three-pointer. 50% so far this season, and able to get the 3 to fall there.
Spearman goes ahead and gives him a quick exchange. And of course, Beerman been a really perimeter first scorer. He's been a heavy volume shooter as well. Expect him to toss some up as the game goes along. Maccabee to repass and stolen up and out of the air by LMU. Timeout's called, and we'll take it with them. It's a 5-point game, the under 12 here in Abney. As the Trojans finally return home after a short 2-game road tenure. Last time they were heroes against Mars Hill, in which they delivered quite the win.
You could say that about all 9 games so far this year that they have played. They have delivered some outstanding results here at Abney, and then also down in the state of Florida, where we saw them go undefeated down there against Tampa and Eckerd.
Yeah, of course. Eckerd, again, like the Newberry game, you kind of want to forget it. 78-64, that final score, and then they demolished Tampa, who was supposed to be ranked this season. They demolished them 93-67. That was where Rashawn Engelman had his insane 10-made three-point game, where he tied Jalen Hillary, who had that against Winkett. As Malachi Reeves, the hesitation, drives the baseline. Here comes Maccabee. You know, we spoke of Florida. The product of Florida is Maccabee, and there's something in that water in Florida that really gets the three-point game going for this Trojan team.
Yeah, 2 quick threes for Maccabee, number 10 in the white and gold, shooting lights out right now so far for the Trojans.
LMU as a whole shooting close to 50% from the field, 49.5 to be exact. This one found by James, and eventually E.J. Smith launches the rocket. Engelman navigating. Kind of loses his dribble. It eventually found in the hands of Garcia, but back to Engelman. And he's finally starting to find his touch. And that'll be a timeout taken. Time of the year, it's the holidays. And, man, we have brought you quite the Christmas gift that is this matchup here today, Logan, here on Flow Sports. My name's Colin Calvert, Logan Shore here right beside me. And, man, the expectations going into this game were really, really high.
Yeah, and, you know, we were talking about how this was going to be a points lovers friend game right here. And it's shown out so far, 22 in the first 10 minutes for the Trojans. Now you're going to see Rail Splitters try to get back to that point, try to even it up here as they have fallen quickly behind by 11. And a quick turnover there from LMU.
And, of course, this has been having only lost 6 games last season. They sit at 4 right now as Maccabee kicks it out. Garcia spinning on Hussein, and that will go in. Drops the dime piece for 2. But then I go back to what I was saying, you know, multiple 20-win seasons. Maccabee the steal off the inbound and in. Timeout called by the former Lumberjack coach. And it's a 26-11 game. Back-to-back buckets for the Trojans. We saw Garcia score one off the turnaround, then Maccabee with some heads-up defensive play, steal it off the inbound for the quick put-up. Now LMU's got to recuperate. Again, we talk about how statistically they're quite incredible, but talent-wise, Anderson right now feels like they might have him beat. Engelman up, and that'll go right over the rim, but he'll draw the contact and find his way to the charity stripe for 2.
If you've been watching the Anderson Trojans so far this season, they love to push the pace, and that is what Engelman does right there, and able to draw the foul against Lewis, and that's his first of the day. Gets Engelman back to the line, actually for his first time today.
And, of course, Engelman up there near the top of the ranks for this Trojan team in regards to free throw percentage, shooting 77 so far on the season. Look at that entire guard trio is sitting there close to the 70% and above percentages. Engelman to try and notch another, and that one he'll grab. So 1 for 2 from Engelman. A bit of an off-kilter game, but of course you can't hold too much pressure on him so far. Apologies, 2 for 2. Can't hold too much pressure upon the freshman. This is just his rookie season at the collegiate level, and that one leveled from 3. And Drew Lewis, who again told you that he was just an early season primary handler. Now he's more of a connector role and connects well with the basket. Engelman picks up the fumbled ball, kicks it out wide. Reeves, who's shooting above 60% from 3, won't find his mark. The behind the back, the quick kick, and it's back in Rail Splitter hands as they look to navigate this tough and gritty Anderson defense. Maccabee, quick hands, and that falls out of play. Anderson ball, and man, this Trojan team continues to impress.
Heads up there by Maccabee. Knew he was heading out of bounds and able to throw it off of the LMU Rail Splitter right there. And it's out on the Rail Splitter ball. So it'll be AU Trojans ball when we come back here, 7:25 in the first half.
And Logan, we've seen nothing but stellar defense since that timeout, well, about 2 timeouts ago. And lots of timeouts in the past 5 minutes of play. As this one stolen away from Garcia and right up the lane with the right hand. Nice finish.
Only the 4th turnover right there from the Trojans, as that was a quick 2 there from Walter Campbell.
Yeah, Campbell saying at 6'7", shifty as Maccabee shifts his way into high gear as he's already climbing the scoring ranks. That'll be his 10th point of just the first half. That's absurd to me.
Yeah, first to double digits for the Trojans, as we always talk about this balanced Trojan attack here for Jimmy Williams and crew.
On the way, the interception, and up and in. A.J. Wright, quick feet, and a quick 2.
The second steal right there, heads up play, and gets the fast break bucket. 32-16, doubling up the LMU Rail Splitters.
Sorry, I interrupted you there, Logan. But I got to be on their P's and Q's in regards to just offensively passing. When you've got players like A.J. Wright, Dawkins, Engelman, Maccabee, guys that can just sneak in to that offensive scheme of yours. Engelman sidestep with the left hand, can't finish. Reeves, the second chance, third will fall. Garcia.
Seen a couple of those inbound plays for the Rail Splitters that have just caused them trouble, as you see the Trojans coming up and trying to, almost like a semi-press, it almost seems like, and it has worked to fruition so far here in the first half.
Lewis looking inside for Campbell. We'll go ahead and take a look at the replay there to see how that call should have gone.
Looks like they did call a foul there. And it might have been A.J. Wright. Yeah, they're going to call him for the grab back.
Yeah, obviously pretty frustrated on that one. He'll be taken out. And you go ahead and you look at the fouls. He's already racked up 2. I told you at the beginning of the game that was going to be something he was going to need to keep an eye out for, would be the fouls. He's got quick hands, and it can translate into steals and transition points, but at the same time can put you at risk for more fouls. We've got here's the inbound for LMU as they're trying to recover from quite the deficit. 34-16, Anderson leads the way. Hop, skip, and a jump. That'll find the crutch. And Garcia Arujo to bring it down. A huge rebound. Again, averaging a double-double. Not a surprise, but Dawkins heaving a 3 in. Won't come as a surprise either, Logan.
Continuing to just relentless attack here. 9-0 run in here in the last minute 53 for the Trojans.
Spearman on the way. Mims. Fadeaway 2. Won't roll. Mims out of West Virginia State. Consistent double-figure scorer. Dawkins loses it on the dribble. LMU trying to play good transitional ball. And Dawkins just frustrated with himself. But again, Garcia there to keep that chin lifted high. A great leader on the court. And just what Jimmy Williams needed to really be the centerpiece of that culture that he's creating.
And it's been a lot of puzzle pieces that have stuck together here in the Electric City, and that's just talks about how great of a coach Jimmy Williams is. Building that culture, finding pieces that are going to work together, and it's shown so far this year. 9-0, as we mentioned, and already up to 14, just historic so far.
Engelman, the attempted floater, swatted away. Leaping through the defense, eventually kicked out to the wide-open Spearman. He spears that one in.
Second three of the day for Spearman. Quick 6 points for him.
Coming off 5 points. She was just 1 for 5 from three-point land against Emory and Henry in that 29-point win. Bully ball down low for Garcia. Of course, Garcia, as we talked about, was a former LMU rail splitter. So being able to play against his former team, though granted, this is a LMU team full of new faces. Because as I was told, once their former head coach left, almost everyone hit the portal. That's kind of what you see in nowadays. Whenever new coaches come about, they bring out new staff and they bring out new players all around the transfer portal, and just the new era that we're in. But we'll stay here for this timeout as we have little less than 3.5 minutes to go, but it's just so interesting that you can almost throw together a team in so little time like this LMU team has and had.
That we did here, which hopefully we will have again after the broadcast tonight, the post-game interview. But that's, just his talking to how he feels here, how he just, everything seems to be clicking here for him. And it shows in his performances.
Reeves, the dribble drive, looking for an outlet, finds Dawkins. Dawkins round the corner, floats it up through contact. The and one. The former Lion roaring towards the bucket and has a chance to make it 3 points here.
Talk about throwing your body out there on the line and able to draw some contact as he was soaring through the air right there.
Well, again, you got to look at the size difference there. 5'9" going up against 6'10" Dallas Kendall. Either way, the floater shot is so dangerous if you can nail it in just right at Dawkins, who's usually so impressive from the charity stripe. Won't make it a three-point play. Anderson leads 41-19. I mean, goodness gracious. Not the score we had in mind for sure, but if you're an Anderson fan, you're hooting and hollering with joy right now. It's a Christmas miracle. The potential to break that 22-game losing streak against the Rail Splitters could come today. A.J. Wright launches that one up, and it'll be Senator Moore, the Oklahoma City native, who provides the jump ball opportunity.
Couple great effort plays right there from Sentinel Moore underneath the basket for the black and gold. Of course, like you said, the sophomore from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, getting a couple turnovers from the Lincoln Memorial Rail Splitters, and then, of course, that jump ball. So great job from him, off-ball and on-ball presence.
Jones moves the pieces on the chessboard. Step back, long two. And a little too long there. He's used to shooting more than mid-range, though he is pretty impressive from deep. I just don't think his feet were set enough. And found nothing but net, but not the type of netting that you wanted to see. This LMU team led by the likes of E.J. Smith, who's got 11.7 points per game on average. And then, of course, Yassin Hussein, who we haven't seen in quite some time. He's sitting with 10.7 points per game. The rest sitting in the single digits. And then you look at this Anderson team. 2 players averaging above 17 points a game. Multiple averaging way above double digits. including the likes of Caleb McAbee and Kadyn Dawkins, both above 11 points apiece. The quick drive down baseline, and we're going to see Garcia check in just for a bit more rim presence, rim protection presence.
Heads up there by Drew Lewis. Not going for the showboat play, down 20 now, but able to get the nice layup and in.
Reeves, the reversal, floats that one in and drops it in a bucket.
Now you can almost say that was a showboat play. That was nice there by Malachi Reeves.
Real nice. I mean, the reversal floater, not too often are you seeing something like that. LMU on the move. Less than 2 minutes here in the first half of play. Bit of a mismatch here outside the arc. And LMU able to keep it in play. 3 seconds to shoot. They're going to have to take one from deep, and that'll find the crutch. And Central Moore takes the rebound. Moore didn't find anything against Newberry, and Dallas Jones couldn't find anything from deep. 25 seconds to shoot here for the Rail Splitters. A little more than a minute to go here in this first half. The hesitation, the attempted poster, and the 8th block of the season for Sentinel Moore. That's 2 on the day. The pull-up won't fall. Jones to Dawkins now, and a minute remains.
So they're going to get Spearman with the foul call on transition there.
And, of course, this will result in an Anderson shooting foul, and the Trojans with Dawkins at the head of it to take the line and try and make up for that earlier missed free throw. Of course, Anderson really in no hurry to try and bolster the amount of points they've got already, but Jimmy Williams, we know how he coaches. It's all or nothing. Dawkins drains it, has a second chance here.
You know, if you look at it, they're right on pace for that, season average that they are right there at 95 points per game.
And Dawkins makes it 2 for 2, 1 for 3 on the day.
And that's even with the last 5 times that they've been down here, 4 times that they've been down here, 1 for 4, the last 4 trips down for the offensive side for the Trojans.
Both Dawkins, McAbee, and of course Garcia, all 4 for 5 from the field today. Out wide, streamlining towards the rim. Garcia, the rebound yet again. That'll be his 6th. And Anderson going to try and wind the clock all the way down. They've got the entirety of the shot clock to work with before time expires. 10 seconds remain here in the first half of play. A.J. Wright to try and call that final halftime shot. Garcia fumbles it, goes up with the right, and wow, seals the first half with a quick 2. We welcome you back here to the action of the second half in this SAC showdown. Anderson playing host to LMU. Of course, LMU won the past 22 games between these two teams, but Anderson with already the 24-point lead. Looks like they might break that streak here this afternoon. My name's Colin Calvert, Logan Shore right beside me as we look towards the keys to the second half for both sides.
Yeah, and if you're LMU, you got to stop turning the ball over. More than 2 times the amount of turnovers, 14-6 for the Rail Splitters so far. Got to hold on to that ball, protect it as you get any opportunity. And, of course, for the Trojans, continue your bread and butter in the paint. 20-8 advantage so far as they look for 4 right here.
A.J. Wright had the extra pass on that possession, gave it to Malachi Reeves, who couldn't make it from 3, and then A.J. Wright tried to tip it in, but that'll go the way of Ahmad Jarrad, whose brother, Antwain, also plays for LMU. They were both traveling men. We went from New Mexico Junior College together all the way to LMU together. Talk about brotherly love. Out wide. 3-ball, A.J. Wright. Arrow on the target, and it's a bullseye.
Yeah, only his 8th made 3 so far this year, but it's a big one right there to get the first points of the second half after a 4-0 run for the Rail Splitters.
In contact, he's had an LMU to step up to the line for the first time in this half. They've only had 2 free throw attempts. Both of those were by Smith early on in the first. And, well, here's Smith again, back for a second try.
You know, it's kind of out of the ordinary. 13 free throws per game usually average right now for the Rail Splitters so far this season. So it's kind of been, you know, it also goes to that paint presence that we've seen so far today. I mentioned before, 10 to 20 so far is the difference, and that 20 is for the Trojans. So far more points in the paint for the Trojans than is shown so far as that deficit grew for the Rail Splitters.
Well, it also shows the discipline defensively
exactly.
that the Sanderson team has. And Coach Jimmy Williams is very adamant on this team being well-disciplined as this one thrown to Engelman. He tiptoes along the baseline, and that will be LMU ball. Yasan Hussein, the Embry-Riddle transfer, had a hand on it, then it went right out on what looked to be Garcia. Reeves trying to find an outlet. Engelman, quick trigger 3. And still really yet to find his groove today. Of course, having scored multiple 20-point games so far this season, he's been the hot hand just about all year. And hopping, skipping, and jumping towards the orange cylinder. And that'll be a quick find for Gerard. 16 points on 8 for 9 from the field. He is efficient as they come.
It leads the team today so far with 8.
Garcia drives, some bully ball. Reeves, the hesitation, floats it up off the glass and can't cash that check. As we look towards Malachi Reeves inbounding, finds Garcia, top of the key, got some space to work with, works on Hussein, and that won't fall. Off the back iron, a bad bounce. And yet again, Gerard. Inside, Hussein. The finishing touch cleans the glass. Wright, the Tampa, Florida native, right now leads the team in assists. He's closing in on that 50 assist mark. Kicks it inside, won't find an assist there. Instead, notches a turnover, but they'll see the jump ball called. Malachi Reeves and Hussein going down to the floor for it. As we look towards that replay, again, it was just a scrum for it. Bodies flying everywhere, and eventually Reeves and Hussein get tangled up. Still a 19-point lead for the Trojans, but there's still plenty of basketball left to be played here, Logan.
Yeah, once again, you see A.J. Wright in there trying to cause for what would be his 3rd steal right there, as you saw him trying to pick at it and get the ball back. But it looks like they may go to a review here.
Yeah, and of course, doesn't look like Malachi, Carson Newman, and then head back home to face Coker. As we are back to the action. Then for Anderson, of course, on the flip side, they're going to take a road trip and take on Clayton State in a non-conference matchup. Then come back home to face Wingate as that one falls in the bucket at the buzzer. Engelman, quick 2. And then after the Wingate game, they'll take on Coker, Tusculum, and Catawba all at home. So a lot more basketball action here in Abney. And, of course, where else would you want to play? 52-31. Nice feed over defender Hussein. Can't find his mark true. through multiple defenders. Now out wide. Mims. The teardrop will fall. Slowly but surely, mounting a comeback.
They have come out here in the second half and have shown that they are ready to play, it seems like here. I don't know what head coach at Lincoln Memorial said, but it is looking, and Yasik, I don't know what he said at half, but it looks like it has worked so far.
Anderson not going to let them keep crawling back, even if it is slowly but surely, as that one will fall. Another mid-range. The hesitation from Mims, kicks out. Wide is Gerard. Apologies, that one going to be Spearman. And, man, he's been lethal from three so far today.
75%, 3 of 4 today. Leads the team from beyond the arc. As it looks like we will get our under 16 timeout here in the second half. The Trojans lead by 19. We'll be back here in the Abney.
Win here, they might just up that ranking a bit more. That is still left to be determined, because this game is nowhere close to being over. Still 15 minutes left in this second half of play, and LMU is not shy about scoring at all today. They've had quite the run here in this second half, just in these last 5 minutes.
You know, if the Trojans are able to hold on and beat the Rail Splitters today, they came in today as one of the only 7 D2 programs that are undefeated coming into today's action. We'll have to see how it all ends up after today's action. I know a lot of basketball is going on today around the D2 conferences, but we'll have to see if they will be one of what will be maybe 7, 6, 5. We'll have to see.
Engelman, some fancy moves, but that ball won't find its way home. Fakes right, drives left, and Cynthia Moore says, I'll take that one, thank you very much. Don't know if we'll count that as a block or a steal, but that would be his third on the day if it was a block. A.J. Wright, blowing by the defense, tries to find more in transition. And speaking of transitional ball, on the way, Gerard up and through. Malachi Reeves was no match.
Great job driving down and getting another bucket here. Don't look now, it's 17. And the Rail Splitters are trying, fighting. They're clawing their way back into this thing.
Engelman scoops it to Reeves. Reeves spins, hesitates, switches hands, and back in the hands of the Rail Splitters. Loose ball on the floor. We might see some fancy action, but instead, hey, a conventional 2 points would never hurt. And that'll be E.J. Smith to grab it. It's a 15-point game here with less than 14 to go. And in the case of basketball teams around the nation, this is their family for right now. Of course, Jimmy Williams always throws a Christmas dinner at his house, and of course they do the same thing with Thanksgiving as well. And Jimmy Williams, in his just 4 seasons at Anderson, has really made this team more like a brotherhood than anything. Engelman working from right to left. From left to right is A.J. Wright. Off the right foot, Engelman the rebound. Engelman from NBA range, can't find it again.
They're going to call Malachi Reeves there for the push-off on the rebounding action, so it'll be a turnover for the Trojans and Rail Splitter ball.
Down by 15, the Rail Splitters. Getting to work, led right now by Gerard. Another start for him this season, 5 for 7 from the floor. Foul on Wright. And just like that, he's up to 3. Still double-digit minutes to go. And having your top assister, who's already got 4 on the day, not a good sight for Anderson fans. Again, the offense funnels through A.J.
The good thing to notice is that, you know, Trojans not in foul trouble yet. Only 7 fouls now after that A.J. Wright personal foul.
Gerard looking for his 13th point. And on the way, Dawkins. Reeves. That one won't roll. Flushed out. Anderson scoreless in the last 3 minutes, and LMU on the 17-0 run. Apologies, 7-0 run. About to say 17-0. In my old age, I'm starting to realize that I can't read as well as I used to. At the ripe age of 22.
You and me both.
Me and you both.
Yeah.
Right. Finds Garcia Arujo, the former rail splitter. Man, what a win it would be against his former team. Right. Shuffle step. Reeves. Engelman. Right working off the screen. Kicks it out. Dawkins snaps it up from the elbow. Drains it. Boom goes the dynamite.
Perfect from beyond the arc today. 15 points and 3 3-pointers for number 3 and Dawkins. Threes are flying here today.
An 18-point lead here for the Trojans. A.J. Wright trying to get back on the scoring track. And he's caught up in a tangle of arms. Will draw the foul and step up to the free throw line as we look back towards that replay.
And A.J. Wright, always known to provide hard drives into the bucket and able to draw the foul there as we head to the under 12 media timeout here. Trojans by 18 on Flow Sports.
A.J. Wright to the line to shoot 2. Anderson 7 for 8 from the charity stripe. Wright shooting around 63% so far this season from the free throw line. He's coming off 6.7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. I mean, the guy is a walking stat achiever. Last season averaged 6.2 assists a game, 2.6 steals.
Almost got one right there. Oh, my.
And again, led the sack in both those categories. Lewis working. Spearman to Lewis. Off the front iron. The rebound put back in. Walter Campbell out of Frankfort, Kentucky. Wright tries to get the extra pass off. Dawkins heaves it up, and that'll be good. Puts it right in the slot for 2. 20-point lead. Lewis from deep tries again, and first found the front iron, then found the backboard, but still no netting. Right. Smart handles. The no-look pass to a wide-open Malachi Reeves, the John Brown University transfer. Making an impact down low. He's kind of that 3-guard that can stretch all over the floor. And he's a difference maker this season. He's been earning quite a few starts as the season's gone along.
Yeah, perfect placement there by Garcia as he was able to find, well, not even look at him, but look over and find Reeves cutting under the basket and making the layup. He has a solid 4.
Yeah, no one saw Reeves coming whatsoever as Arujo does the split. Hopefully all's well with him. We'll see some substitutions come in. Engelman, who hasn't had the greatest game today, 2 for 10. One of his lowest scoring affairs. Both of them for Ben out wide. So total of 8 points. He had 2 from the free throw line as well as we look towards that replay. And back to the action. Swatted away. Garcia says, get that out of here.
Went all the way to the ground there with the split, but this time jumps way up over there and able to swat it out.
Testing his flexibility,
yep, exactly.
of course.
And we've seen him have some just amazing, incredible defensive and offensive, as we mentioned before. As you see him here now on the offensive. Almost gets the rolling in.
Yeah, really been the traffic controller today. And, of course, sitting there weighing about 240 pounds, 250 pounds of pure steel, and you're just barreling through. Who would want to step in front of you and try and stop you?
It's very difficult to stop that. You know, as an NC State fan myself, I'm thinking about DJ Burns in the NCAA tournament. Just nobody was able to. With DJ Burns backing down, it was tough to stop.
I mean, well, also, I think DJ Burns had an extra 70 pounds
exactly.
on Garcia, too. That was a big man. It should have been playing offensive line for NC State. They needed it that year. They needed it that year. 65-42. And we see James Repass having checked in. Maccabee as well. Haven't seen much of him today, but, of course, really Anderson hasn't needed it. Hasn't been their – well, actually, I was about to say hasn't been their greatest shooting day, but so far, Anderson shooting above 45% from both the field and three. But we haven't seen much volume shooting-wise.
Yes, exactly. And you haven't really needed to.
Nope.
Just controlling the pace, and sometimes that might be frantic at most, but just able to find open shots. And, of course, that 9 of 20 from three stands out to me. Of course, 4 of 13 for Lincoln Memorial today.
Spearman to the line. Shooting a solid 67%, just his 5th free throw attempt on the season. And with less than 10 minutes to go, Logan, right now, what does LMU need to do to make the climb back?
They're going to need a lot at this point. It has been difficult at most to find offensive consistency, and I think that's the main thing. Got to find a couple buckets in a row on possessions if you want to try to cut this in.
A big rematch between both James and Repass. Those two gone at it every time they check in the game. It's a bit of a mismatch between the two, and Repass exposed it there, the former Furman Paladin. The toss from the key, looking now towards the elbow. Now driving baseline. Campbell working on Jones. Gerard drives, floats it up. Off the glass, no good. Tried to call Sparrow Financial, the official banking partner of Anderson University Athletics. RV Bank Solutions to elevate your financial game. As we see, Campbell try and go up yet again, and he'll try and get the extra pass, and won't work in his favor.
Trojans again, 8-0 run in the last 3 minutes. 13-2 run in the last 5 minutes and change. It's just consistent. Bucket after bucket, turnover, everything going right so far for the Trojans, as it's been all season long.
LMU having been scoreless for upwards to 3 minutes now, even with the extra few points that were given early on in the second half of play. Because again, both these teams started off really hot, and then things started to slow back down for Lincoln Memorial. Still, shooting-wise, it hasn't been treacherous whatsoever. 37% from the field, 30% from three. And Dallas Jones to take things down court. Finds Engelman, but it's tipped up. On the way, Walter Campbell trips as he goes. And that'll be a foul on Dallas Jones.
His first of the day, Dallas Jones, as he'll head out, as well as Kadyn Dawkins on A.J. Wright, and Malachi Reeves will come on in.
Yeah, A.J. Wright checked out of the game earlier just due to the fouls he'd started to rack up. He had 3 before he checked out eventually. And the 5'8" junior, even with the hands up, no match for the lengthier Campbell. The and one opportunity coming your way here on Flow Sports Live at 68-44, 24-point lead for the Trojans. And that'll go in for the three-point play. A.J. Wright grabbed his fourth foul. So, again, we mentioned that in the pregame. He was going to need to look out in regards to the fouls because he can rack them up quick. Usually if you're pretty good on the steal side of the ball, you also tend to risk fouling more often than not. Engelman, the freshman with some fancy footwork, unable to get his defender off him, passes into traffic, and foul is called.
Trying to see who they called the foul on it. I think it was Grace Alumma, his first of the day.
Alumma, the Chipola College transfer, native of the Congo. So he's quite far from home. This one passed right into the hands of Arujo. As Engelman to step up to the line. Both teams in the bonus right now, so any fouls awarded will distribute 2 free throw opportunities. So this is a chance to make it a 70-45 game here for Engelman. Also just give him a bit of a reprieve from the misses that he's had today. Just hasn't been his greatest game. Just 20% from the field so far, 2 for 10 and 2 for 8 from three-point land. And, well, won't make it there either.
You know, and that's the great thing about this Trojans team is even if Engelman's not having the greatest of days, he has teammates around him that are able to pick up his slack, as you might say. So, amazing job. Even if it's his bad day, he's still got 8 points so far tonight.
Yeah, this is no one-trick Pony Anderson squad either. They have guys that can do it all. And Maccabee, the Providence High School product, and one of Jimmy's best recruiting classes, able to knock down a rebound as we see Garcia pulled from behind by the jersey. And he'll step up to the free throw line.
Check a replay of that. I think it was Spearman that was going to get a grab of the back of Garcia's jersey as he was looking for a quick 2. Instead, he'll have to earn it the hard way from the free throw line. And I say it the hard way because it just Garcia makes it so easy looking underneath the basket.
Then again, thankfully, his free throw percentage speaks for itself, 78%. And there again, had to try and earn it the hard way.
There was the jinx, I think.
There's the jinx.
Yep.
Alumma, pass off, Spearman. Out wide, Gerard. Alumma out of his reach.
We're going to say out on Garcia, I believe. Kind of a wacky play there near the midcourt line.
Spearman working on Reeves, blows by him. The finger roll won't fall. And a nice reset in shot clock, my apologies, will result in the second chance opportunity for LMU.
The pace has certainly slowed down here as we wane down the last 5 minutes. AU, of course, still scoreless in the last 3.5 minutes.
Though they may be scoreless, they have been 4 for 5 on the last 5 shot attempts. Still shooting 45% from beyond the arc, 46% from the field today. And Dawkins sits at 2 and 3 from the charity stripe. Make that 3 for 4. And it's sitting at 69-47. That's your score. Dawkins. A nice quick 2 points in the bonus. Never hurt nobody. Aluma off the glass. And there's going to be no cleanup, as we'll see the foul drawn and take a look at that replay.
Yeah, Engelman hit his head hard there, coming back down. Looks like Malachi Reeves is going to get credited with his second personal of the day. And, of course, that will send the likes of Okafor to the line. But Engelman definitely shaking off that after that hits hard to the back of the head. It also looks like Caleb McAbee's going to come off to the sideline. It looks like he's got to clean up some blood around the hand. So a very aggressive playing here on the defensive side there.
Yeah, definitely don't want to get blood on those nice shiny white jerseys either. And Okafor, 3 for 4 from the stripe so far this season, sitting at 75%. Not too shabby for the Manchester United Kingdom native. This just his 8th appearance this season. Been scoreless since Johnson C. Smith at the beginning of the month. And they're going to drag Caleb McAbee out by the hand. Still with a lot of blood. And it looks like A.J. Wright might check in.
Just right around that knuckle, which is difficult to stop bleeding, of course. And it looks like they're going to have to call for A.J. Wright to come on in.
Yeah, it would be definitely a delay of game. Yeah. Had they taken any more time, you can see the frustration from LMU's coach. 70-47. Okafor lobs one up and drops it in the bucket. Okafor ends the scoreless streak, for him at least. Again, hasn't scored since the 3rd of December. That was 6 games ago, so finally, the junior to get the scoring going. 70-49 here, 21-point game. A.J. Wright just going to try and drain the clock. He's got a little more than 15 to shoot. Garcia, he's at cross court. Dawkins, the quick dribble drive, floats it up in the air, and that one will come down back into his hands somehow. Of course, we've seen some crazy rebounds by this Trojan team with Engelman, who had one against Newberry. It came back into his hands while he was sitting on his butt underneath the rim.
And they're going to call a 10-second right there. So much pandemonium that was going on.
Pandemonium indeed. Coach Williams was like, wait, 10. He was ready for it. Had the number in his head. And with 4 minutes, 46 seconds to go, LMU can't afford costly mistakes like that.
Great job by Engelman. Down on the floor, able to try to get that rebound, and then gets right back up and tries to force a steal. And, of course, it did force up a turnover for the Rail Splitters.
17th turnover on the afternoon. Reeves has a lane, spins, kicks it out. Garcia, the 1-2 pass off, eventually finds a foul.
Looks like they're going to get Okafor for his third. And we'll send Garcia to the line, who's, of course, today so far 2 of 3. Now make it 2 of 4. Still 12 points, 7 rebounds, leads the team so far today. And, of course, 2 blocks that have been allowed for the Trojans defense.
And then on the other side, in the scoring regime of things, it's Dawkins that leads with close to 20 points. Popped out, punched away by Reeves. Right behind the back, almost hands it over. Instead, hands it off to Reeves, all the way top of the key. Now towards the Trojan net. Here comes Garcia, flaming down the lane. And through contact he goes, barreling through the woods for the quick two and an extra point chance.
You know, I said he made it easy. It might not be easy at the line, but able to find his bread and butter and go right down the pipe and able to get the lay-in in and, of course, draw the foul for the third.
We'll see if he can redeem himself after the last two misses, and that he does. He looks up to the sky. He's like, praise God. 73-49. Gerard working on Engelman, fighting through the defense. Aluma. Campbell with the two-hand puts it up for the lay.
Good job there by Aluma. Knowing he did not have the best opportunity there, so he lays it up, or excuse me, gives it off to number 14, N. Campbell. Gets a quick two. Just a little too late, I believe, for the Rail Splitters here, down 22.
Right, with that pass ricocheting off multiple bodies. He was trying to throw it towards the elbow for Dawkins and ended up on the other side of the court, and we ended up finding ourselves at a timeout. It's Anderson with the ball, finds Engelman, and Reeves unsuccessful at the shot clock buzzer. We've seen him try to do those fancy floater shots up and underneath the rim. Was successful once today, but second chance won't do him any good. Gerard squeezes that one in. The Indianapolis, Indiana native. He grabs the N1 opportunity. His final few minutes.
And 19 for Lincoln Memorial, 12 now for the Trojans. As that one goes down, 73-54, cuts it within 20.
Engelman needs an outlet. Dawkins is his guy. A.J. Wright speeding down the court. What a pass! And no finish. There by Garcia. Yes, he drew the foul, but you got to be able to make easy shots like that. But what a pass by A.J. Wright.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing about A.J. Wright's game. It's, you know, we call him the facilitator for a reason, you know. So far this season, a little bit down than what last year, just over 5 assists per game. Of course, third in the SAC with 49 assists coming into today in 9 games. So, of course, adds on today's total as he's got 5, so just right at that average so far this year. As Garcia knocks down his first, that's 16 for him today.
Yeah, his foul draw rate spikes in big games, and this is a big game. I mean, he had 10 free throw attempts in that Carson Newman game that really helped lead them in that victory over really one of the top-ranked teams in the South Atlantic Conference, who was polled to be in the preseason poll conference of the South Atlantic Conference. And blocked by Reeves. Campbell has that one swatted away too. Back-to-back blocks for this Anderson team. Man, defensively, impressive as ever. Already 5 blocks so far today. Now 6 blocks for this Trojan team. Wright dishes this one off. The 1-2-3 punch. Wright, Engelman, and Garcia. And Garcia down for the count. Look, he was holding his nose. Looks like he'll be just fine. And
Gerard was also down out there on the far side of the court. A couple guys that went down, and I think they're going to go and check to see if all the start the early part of January. So those New Year's resolutions better to be to go 4-0 at home to start there and really lock up what could be just a very successful season, more than what it already is.
And already we've seen 2 20-plus wins here at home. Well, of course, still 2 minutes to go. Can't get ahead of myself again. But against Mars Hill, won that one by a long shot.
And just going back to that last play before the timeout, they did go back and check, and I do believe they just called it a common foul, just a couple hard-nosed plays, and no pun intended with Garcia there holding his nose afterward.
Surprised he didn't call the travel there, Dawkins. All the emotion as we see. Kadyn Collins, Jamed Jones, and James Repass check into the game.
Of course, Kadyn Dawkins, Malachi Reeves, and it looks like Garcia's going to come out. And they provided a lot of offense right there today. Great job by all of them.
Those 3 were elite today. And, hey, if Garcia doesn't step foot back on to the floor today, he did a really good job facing up against his former team. And last year, whenever he played for LMU, had 12 points against Anderson the very first time those 2 teams played, and then just had 5 minutes to the game. Next go-around, the second game they played Anderson that season, is this one off the foot of LMU. Deep ball from three-point land won't go. Whistle blown. And, of course, one freshman I want to highlight out there on the court is Jamed Jones, number 15. He's been very impressive just in the small blippets of time that he's had. Think back to Bob Jones. You may remember the highlight dunk reel that he had, but also he had 6 assists as well. And that's pretty impressive, I will say. A not me first type of guy, and that's exactly what Jimmy Williams was looking for whenever he goes and recruits. He looks for guys that are selfless, that are willing to play team ball, and hey, get the job done. And they definitely got it done against Bob Jones. Most 3-pointers in a single game. Most points scored in a single game as Jamed Jones steps out. A play was looking to go up for the left-handed slam, but was stopped shy just by the whistle. Flying down court, 3-ball off the side iron. And now with close to just a minute remaining, the Trojans looking to have their 10th victory in the nation. And, you know, Logan, after this game, I think they might shoot up a few spots.
I do believe so as well. I think you could see this team entering the top 10 after this weekend when the polls come out on Tuesday. We'll have to see. And that will be a great Christmas gift, I believe, for them. Just seeing their hard work that has paid off early on in this 10-game stretch and just dominating everybody that they have played so far this year. So it'll be interesting to see what the coaches poll and all the metrics say. We'll have to see early next week.
And we'll see the charge call, and A.J. Wright, who could have drawn his 5th foul there, instead. A little bit of theatrics. Never hurt nobody, as we see Cal Godfrey out of Easley, South Carolina, take the court. Had his first collegiate points just a few games ago. A.J. Wright in a rush down court. Less than 10 seconds in between shot clock and game clock as Anderson looks to wrap up this little home tenure, and that one thrown way out of play. And Kadyn Collins, a little bit of trippage. Couldn't find his first touch of the day as the final 20 seconds are underway. Mims to Alama. Out wide to Gerard. Gerard flying by, repass, pops it out. And with 6 seconds to go, well, Logan, your thoughts on the matchup overall?
Just another great showing here for the Trojans as the final couple seconds drain out. It's going to be 10 wins. In Anderson, South Carolina.